Well, I was.
Hi everybody, it's Chris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast, brought to you by Gallowgateshots. Hang on, nobody can see me at the minute.
You might want to take that off the screen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, there it is. Hello.
It's been a while since we've been in the studio, so I forgot what I was doing. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All the best.
All the best.
I'm going to do it with this, but I'm not drinking it.
You can see who the one who's trying to be healthy this January is with his bottle of squash.
Who needs it most?
You normally always turn up with like a bottle of juice, though, don't you?
I like a bottle of juice now on a Monday night.
You know, you have a trip to Aldi before you come. Get yourself Aldi.
I don't get that excited about it, to be honest with you.
I don't even know what we're planning on doing here, to be fair, because there's been no football since the Man United
There's
game.
been lots of football, just none that we've been involved with.
Exactly. So I think we'll start there. And I'm looking at you, Bessie, so I'm going to come straight to you.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of tears, a lot of crying from Everton fans, from Southampton fans.
Yeah.
Is that justified or
No, God, no. So I forget who made the point now, but I saw on Twitter, it might have been not so local hero or someone like that saying, so if Everton sack Benitez, which is plausible because he's having a rotten run, have they then got to reinstate him when they play us?
Good shout, mate?
Yes.
Like, it's not just Newcastle that would be effect. It might not be us. We might not say anyone for the next 2 weeks. We all anticipate that we are. Trippier's of everyone. I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag there. Everyone's
Allegedly
expecting Trippier to sign at some point in the next few. Everyone, it's all over the place.
And ITK, Bestie.
I saw it on Sky Sports News there, and then it was in the Telegraph a few hours later. So
careful.
dealing's gone on there, but yeah, it just seems bizarre to me that this hasn't been something that's we were one of the last clubs to have a game postponed.
We were the last club, I think.
And I didn't see any uproar. Burnley have got 4 games in hand on me. I think 3 now.
Yeah.
Because played Leeds, and I didn't see anyone saying, "Oh, they shouldn't be allowed to do this." What happens if? Yeah,
that's it. Everybody's going on. Well, they shouldn't be able to play the new signings. So does that mean no one else is allowed to make any signings or anything like that? Or is it just Newcastle?
I think it's just us because of the old.
Because we're filthy rich.
Well, you know what it is though. Is it this, or is it because we notice it because it's us that are getting talked about? I've not seen it about anyone else, and it hasn't even been a sniff of.
If we go a year back though, we were the first club to get a game called off first round of COVID. It was against Villa, Villa fans were doing exactly the same. We had done it just so we didn't have to play the game against them, and etc. etc.
We would probably have done the same. Borough, 2003. Borough cancelled the game against us because of treacherous conditions. It
was fog or something in front of freezing fog.
Allegations of improprieties in their accounts.
We had a game at home cancelled very last minute one winter as
Charlton
well.
At home.
What's that?
I was walking. I was at the gate and I was walking. It was just icy.
It didn't even seem that bad either, did it?
Yeah. I was once at a gig that got cancelled once everyone was in the arena.
Oof.
Not the arena. It was Interpol, the Academy, 2007. Apparently the bass player. Unless it's allegedly, because it is Carlos Dengler took a big heroin overdose. Allegedly
backstage.
A bit earlier on, I don't know where they'd been prior to that. Maybe they'd been out down the quayside or something. You get yourself through the afternoon however you can, don't you? Down there, but yeah. So I was due to go to Ibiza the next day, and I did. I didn't let that spoil my holiday.
It wasn't you that had the heroin overdose, so you are allowed.
Well, you don't know what happened in Ibiza.
That was last minute. I'm not for a moment suggesting that that game against Charlton was cancelled because Danny Murphy had a heroin overdose. I was here, Charlton. I can't remember. Was he ever at Charlton?
I don't know.
Danny Mills.
Danny Mills was, definitely.
Them bald lads called Danny Dyer.
Danny Murphy was at Fulham.
Yeah, he was.
I want to talk about Fulham, Mark.
Fulham, Liverpool. I'm just trying to think of where he was.
Fulham, Liverpool crew. I think he started out. Was it Borough for a bit?
No.
Danny Mills was.
Danny Mills was.
Was it DJ or Scott Mills?
I do like how we go down these random paths of
rabbit
football
hole-
stuff.
the rabbit
Couldn't
hole
do that
started-
home game against Charlton because it was icy. I tell
5
you.
minutes in the rabbit hole started already. Mark,
And I mentioned Rafa
Hi,
already
Chris.
as well.
you would have saw it already. So the aggro mainly. So what we had mainly from the Southampton fans was saying what Bestie alluded to. They're saying if we sign players in January, then those players shouldn't be allowed to play a game of football against them in the obviously when it gets rearranged. In what
It's
world
mad,
are they
isn't it?
living with where that even enters the brain?
They're living in that world where opposition fans really do think that we are going to go out and sign Messi and Mbappe and all of these and suddenly
That's
become
a really good point, actually.
world beaters overnight. That can be the only sensible solution to what they're saying is they honestly think we're going to go out and buy the world's best players and have 11 of them, suddenly put them in the team, and then we'll win the league between now and May.
It's ironic that, and I think you're right. I've not thought of that, but you're right. It's like Southampton fans are Everton fans maybe gutted. Oh, they're going to sign this. We're then excited about maybe signing Tarkowski and Connor Cody. And we're not the ones who are kind of, we're going to get Mbappe, we're going to get the reanimated Diego Maradona out like that, we're going to Jim Morrison on the wing. We're just going to have a couple of better. We just want to be able to hopeful.
That's it.
And it's not us that
That's
are
it.
projecting this kind of. It's not us that saying, oh, we're going to sign this one, that one, and just tear the league up. So that's a really good point. And that's other teams' perception of us rather than the actual. Very well played, that one.
I know me stuff.
But it's a big problem. Do you think it's going to be a big problem on social media? I think because I agree. We know the quality or the caliber of. Having said that, I mean, I didn't expect we to go for Trippier or get Trippier. So that is personally for me, he's outside of the box in terms of what I thought would be able to attract.
Totally.
But having said that, I mean, the majority of the 4 or perhaps 5 we may get in, I think, are going to be in a mold that aren't Mbappe or Messi, right? So, but everyone else does think that. So I think that on social media,
I like
fans.
how you said the majority of them as if like
maybe
one of the 4 of them is going to be.
Well, you never know. You never know.
We're going to sign like that.
Mbappe is out of contract.
Now Ranger back. We're going to get Junior Hoylett.
He's still playing. He was playing today. I was quite surprised.
Blackburn.
No, he's moved on.
Redden.
Redden?
Junior Hoylett.
Except he's not wearing blue.
I love
You're looking as if he was on the telly there.
So we're going to get Wayne Routledge and Jude Bellingham. So we're going to get like 3 or 4 kind of job in Champions.
No, what I meant though was Trippier might be the one that is sort of
it's a statement
signing. Trippier is that one. Then we'll have 3 or 4 as that are certainly upgrades on what we have, but they're not going to be, the names that we're getting.
And I think
on social media, fans are going to have a massive pop. I think it's some fans at us. And our fans will react, by the way, because we always do.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But they will have a go going, well, I thought you were going to be signing Mbappe and you've got Cook from Bournemouth, for example.
Yeah, but don't you find it ridiculous that they, in that breath, are going on about, they think they're brilliant, they're going to make all of these signings, and then they go and say, oh, well, why they're paying that for Trippier, why they're spending that amount of money? Like, they're actually trying to talk down the fact that we're actually going out and buying somebody that is a good.
I saw Man
good
City
player.
fan today on Twitter criticizing Newcastle United spending this amount of money on Kieran Trippier, coming from the team that
people in glass houses
hung on Robinho was it 30 million? I think it was a minute after the deal was done.
Everybody gets precious when it's not your money. It's not affecting my children. Like there'll still be food on my table, no matter if we spend £100 million on Trippier or not. I don't understand why there's such a big. I mean, the Joe Linton situation was one of the biggest, but there is a real, especially from the outside, it's like, oh, I can't believe you're paying that for him, or I can't believe you're doing that. And I'm like, it's a big deal.
I saw, I think it was a Villa fan today saying, I can't wait to see how much they'll overspend. Like, me too. I can't wait.
Honestly,
been waiting 15 years for this.
The 2 things which made me trouble us, 2 great tweets which I've saw over the last couple of days. The first one was the Southampton fans kicking off about the game being postponed. That a Newcastle fan had done the on deck meme where it says now go back to Ward-Prowse. Amazing. Absolutely hilarious.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely class. And what was the other one? There's something else. Was that funny? I forgot. I had it in my head a second ago. It'll come back to us. But that Ward-Prowse one was absolutely hilarious, and every other fucker stole it.
It was unbelievable.
So it's everywhere.
It was amazing. It really was.
That would be better if they've got Ward-Prowse and like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Just for the Southampton and Everton thing.
I'd quite happily have the pair of them.
What I would say to you is, again, I try to do this on anything, be it a penalty or a potential handball. Look at it from both sides, right? And if, let's say, Southampton, I'm talking roles reversed here, right? So we are Newcastle where we are now in the relegation zone, and we're playing Southampton who were in the midst of a takeover. they've had to take over apologising. You know, it's the same situation as us. And the game was going to be on Sunday, and we needed to win, and we knew they had all these players out injured, and the game was off. Would we be sitting on the table going, wankers? Probably would be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on social media, mate. I'm not that type of person.
I don't know, like, because
I don't think you'd be sitting there going, that's amazing.
A couple of weeks ago, we were playing Leicester, and obviously they were having COVID and everything like that. And yes, the game went ahead, but if that had have been called off, I don't think I would have been like kicking off about it kind of thing.
After that exact game, though, you did have a little bit of a dig at Premier League corruption because of the Maddison penalty.
Aye.
I think the thing is, though, we are in a complete different predicament of what other Premier League clubs are. We were wanting to get these games postponed.
God.
For a month.
Yeah.
We're the only club that's been wanting to push these games. And
Yeah.
the fan base can call them all off until February.
But the thing is if we wanted to get any games called off, surely the games you would call off would have been the ones where we played Man United, Man City, Liverpool.
No, not for me.
No, because those are passes. The ones that you get
Yeah.
called off. Are the
Well,
ones
not when we're apparently going to be
be.
signing Mbappe and Messi and all of that. We've got hell of a more chance beating them, haven't we?
I want everyone in the door and everyone back fit for Watford's Everton's.
You've got to beat the teams around you. That's something that, that's something. If you stay up, you've got to beat. You've got to beat Burnley, Norwich, Watford.
So
Everton, Leeds.
remember what the other comment was that made us laugh, bestie. It was the one, another Southampton fan on this one that said something like, "Oh, shock! Of course, Newcastle are going to put a bid in for Trippier now." When the January transfer window opened, as it would, like just sneak past them. Oh, we'll call the game off January 1st. Oh, of course they'll put a bid in. It's fucking January. That's what we're going to do all along. Whether or not that game went ahead or not.
Did you see the mint one, the Jason Bourne one?
No.
So it was a Southampton.
Oh, so he was called Jason
and he was
Bourne,
called
wasn't he?
Jason Bourne, and then someone, that's an ultimatum from Bourne. One of the best tweets I've seen. It was absolutely brilliant. But it's just a bit. I can understand that they're frustrated and pissed off. I get that, but it's just the way.
I would get it, Decker, if we were the first club to do it, but we're the last club to get a game called off.
Well, I do give you that one, but
I haven't saw this.
But
Maybe
for
it's 'cause
example,
we're not in that little goldfish bowl of other clubs. That let's say if it's Everton, Burnley gets called off, you'd only have the Burnley fans kicking off with Everton.
Yeah, but also what I would say, we are the only club that has been so what's the word, like everyone's interested in to see what business we do in January. For example, Burnley could get 10 games called off, and everybody knows Burnley's team ain't really going to change in January. It's just going to be the same. Whereas I think from the outside, again, people think, oh, it's January and here we'll go type of thing. And let's be fair, there's a lot of our Twitter accounts I see that I follow are like, January the 1st, this is the month our club's going to be reborn, and this is and I'm like, well, settle down.
See that one the day, there was one kid today going, I can't believe how long it's taken.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
There's been a few like that, to be fair.
Well, apparently, I don't know who it is because that account follows us and the other one blocked us, so I don't.
Maybe this is what
Mandy's Mags.
Trickery.
Something like that. But it was I kind of tagging Caducey and Jamie Rubin as if they're sitting there going, but I got to move on.
So what's your thoughts on that, Bessie? And we've had a little bit of a discussion in the WhatsApp group. Some screenshots have been put in there. A lot of fans unhappy that we didn't sign a player a minute past midnight. I feel that these deals should have been arranged.
I'll be honest with you. People seem to think that signing players is like it is on FIFA Football Manager, where you have it arranged and you just go, oh yeah, the clock struck midnight or a minute past or a second past, and now all of a sudden you've got like these new players coming in. It's just not how it is.
Same Barcelona done it.
Yeah, Howard Farron, and they can't even play him, can they? Because they can't afford to pay his wages.
Do you think it's a bit mad with the Trippier situation that obviously this has been rumoured for a long time, right? Like it seems a while anyway. So almost since the first came in. And then you've got pictures of him yesterday, obviously clapping to the fans and almost waving, saying bye. Yeah. And that like to a degree almost feels like tapping someone up. Like they're saying that the person
it 100% happens. It 100% happens.
Every transfer is like and it's kind of wrong. It is wrong. It's not in the rules.
The thing is they'll no longer be tapping the player up. They'll be tapping the agent up.
So
that's what they'll be doing. The club will be talking to agents.
To be fair, it's probably the other way around. It's probably the agents.
100%.
I've heard that said about us, where you get like players that were linked, or managers or directors of football that were linked, and it was apparently agents. I think it was George that said that. We're approaching the club and saying, "Oh, by the way, such and such is available."
And do you think in Trippier's contract, do you think there'll be something in there for going down?
Yes.
100%. Well, apparently, one of the papers or Sky Sports or something that isn't the case.
But surely it's in a World Cup year.
Well, what they said was there isn't a relegation clause, but if we were to get relegated, his wages wouldn't go down. Which then you would think that he's going to
that'll work well.
That he would stay.
We always spunk with on fucking super players in the championship. Damien Duff was on how I would play one game, like. But
I'd take Trippier in the championship, like.
This is where we've got all these mid players in the championship.
Let's just get 400 points or something.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. He hasn't signed yet.
If you want to sign, I don't think that we would sign him. He's not going to be going on. He's going to ask who else is going. And if they're saying to him, "Oh yeah, we're going to get a couple of lads on loan from like League One," and there's that Alan St. Minimum from Wolves, we're going to look at him again, and that Hamza Chowdhury from Leicester might get him. He's not going to sign.
Can't afford him anymore.
No, Blackburn strikers are one again. It's very heavy.
Brett Burton Diaz.
Yes.
Aye. But then Trippier's not going to be going, I'll go to Newcastle. I've always wanted to play alongside Jeff Hendrick and Jamal. He's going to be coming to Newcastle, having been sold. Right. You know, when they used to bring the French lads out and see how he has like Keisa. Yeah. It'll be a similar thing where I say you're not seeing Jeff Hendrick. Saying to Kieran Trippier, you'll never guess who we're looking at now, and he's going to be going, right.
Well, he's like a bit of bait, isn't he? If you're
like a nice scallop.
if you're a player looking in at Newcastle now and thinking, oh, hang on, they've just went and signed Kieran Trippier, who's just won the league last season, had a great Euros in the summer. This club mean business. Yeah, it's going to then tempt me to actually think, well, they are doing things moving in the right direction. They're looking to improve. They're looking to get proven quality players in. Then it makes you more attractive as a club.
We look at like a few months ago, Jesse Lingard's people were at a game.
Yeah.
Not Jason Donovan. Was like, who knows? I mean, I'll take Donovan, like no problem. But
maybe it's Brett Emerton's finally going to sign for Newcastle.
It's actually Brett Burton who've been scouting for like 20 since he was in Network 20 in the streets of Chile. But no, I think that's probably right, Mark. I think that Trippier's going to be used as bait for like, look at the quality of player that we're going for. But also, they'll have been telling Trippier we're going to sign. You want to see this podcast is fucking great. Not so much this one. And to get him in, like, so I think I'm quite excited.
Which was the podcast you meant wasn't very good?
Oh, yeah, that one. Something the presenters are fucking dick.
Hi, Taylor.
He's an elevator mine, like, but we tried to make a film together. It didn't go well. We fell out.
Are you a little bit worried, Mark, that somebody might come in last minute? Because we've heard the rumors of Chelsea. It looks like a pretty much done deal with Trippier. But if I take you back to a certain Frenchman coming over to Newcastle United, Loic Remy, he signed for QPR the same day he was supposed to.
There's been a few over the years, hasn't there? I mean, we all thought, a few months back that it was a done deal and Unai Emery was going to be named the next day. So that's why I'm just a little bit cautious. All of the noises are the right ones that you want to be hearing, like everything in the press and everything like that. But we've been there before, so you've just got to have that little bit of caution. If he gets on a plane and comes over, then I'll be happy.
And if there's one fan base that's going to find him on a plane, it's ours.
That's it.
Who was it that apparently Sunderland were trying to sign him? Was it Papa Cisse?
Yes, they paid for his flight, didn't it?
That was bullshit.
It was bullshit, but that was a rumor.
It's a nice story that was.
That's brilliant. Brilliant, yeah. I think there's no problems with that one. I think I think we've been in for him early enough that, what I mean? It's one of these little cliches that the players normally says, when the club were after us so early on and they made us feel wanted and blah, blah, blah. I don't think now it's too late in the day, I think, for anyone to come in and go, we're hijacked.
I'd be surprised as well. I say, given it's a World Cup, obviously in 12 months' time, or 11 months' time, but it's a World Cup year. He's not going to He's not going to want to go to Chelsea, surely. To be
Hang on,
second fiddle.
You really confused me with that one.
He's not going to want to go to Chelsea to play second fiddle to Reece James. Because Reece James is young, quick. He's a good.
He wasn't even playing yesterday.
But that's why Chelsea doesn't worry us. I don't see the problem.
That doesn't quite.
I'll move over to somebody else then. I'll come to you, Decker. Frenchman. No, he's not. He's in the French league. He's not a Frenchman. He's in the French league. Dutchman.
He's got a great name.
Botman. Do the Botman.
Oh, yeah.
Jorginho. Talking about Jorginho.
Wijnaldum.
1 billion%.
Name keeps on coming up. It's been coming up for a few weeks now, but it's a lot louder now.
Oh.
Can you see that one happening, or is that just a pipe dream?
No, I think it's a pipe dream. I think
he's not happy there, mate.
No, he might not be happy. PSG.
I'm not talking about signing possible loan.
Yeah. Well, yes, maybe a loan, but something tells us that you've went to Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain. I feel as if he was going to go on loan. I feel as if he might go. I'm back to Liverpool, for example, for the end of the season, just to help them out. I can't see him coming to a relegation side. I just can't see it. I know that he enjoyed it here. I know he liked it here. And all the rest.
He was in a relegation side as well as it goes.
And that's why he left. Went down, didn't he? But I don't know. I can't see it, but I would love it at the same time.
I'd like it if we just played him at home.
Yeah.
Go back.
Well, we can afford to do that these days.
Imagine Joelin alongside him, in the midfield there.
I think it's one of those ones where it's putting, the fact that he's not getting his game at PSG. Yeah. He wants to be away. He wants to be playing football. We've got a load of money. He's a former player. It ended in a way nobody would have liked. So there's perhaps some unfinished business there, but I'm the same as you. I can't see it happen.
I think he was probably your best player that season. The relegation season. I know.
At home.
Was he top scorer?
So he probably was until
probably would have been.
Probably say until Townsend came in.
Yeah, I think he would have been the other choice. But Wijnaldum's one who he's a fantastic player. He's a better player now probably than he was. He was quite young with us, 22, 23-year-old with us. I mean, it's now 6 years since we went down.
He was superb for Liverpool.
He was.
It took him a while to get. It took him a while to get going though.
Well, it will.
When he first went there.
That's why he scored 4 in his third game or something.
At Liverpool.
It will. Twice for it.
No, once.
He scored against Norwich. Was it 4 against
Norwich?
In
the 6-2, the first win of the season.
Yeah. Some lovely goals in that game.
Yeah.
Mitrovic scores just beautiful. Which is a beautiful goal.
One of the best atmospheres I've ever been.
That Mitrovic goal was kind of I thought this is what he could be. He was strong and he got through well.
The way he took that goal was amazing.
Mitrovic was just shit for the rest of the.
It was a strange one. Wijnaldum though, wasn't
he was shit.
He obviously went from Newcastle to Liverpool. Then there was heavy links that he was going to Barcelona, wasn't it?
He was nearly there. Apparently, the more had him.
That's right.
He ticked it off and ended up at PSG.
More money.
To be fair, it's probably a good decision at the end of the day. What happened to Barcelona not long afterwards?
Yeah, well, you think of Paris Saint-Germain's team, he went there, then they got Messi.
Everybody was coming in.
And then lovely place to live, Champions League football. You're guaranteed to win the league, probably. Well, it's a great choice, but he just doesn't get a game, does he?
Neil won last season. Neil won it.
Yeah. He'll 100% walk into any other Champions League club. Out there, any European,
except
Europa
for
League, something like that.
Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and
he'll have loads of offers.
He's a great.
His wage might be an issue for some of them.
It would be a hell of a coup if he came back now. Oh, he's not that old. He's early 30s.
Christ, I see Man United's midfield again today. McTominay and fucking Fred. He'd crawl in that midfield. You know what I mean? So there's other club, but the point I think we're all agreeing with is that we would take him in a heartbeat. But it feels unlikely. It would be unbelievable again. If they announced Trippier, then Wijnaldum a couple of days later, right, the pants are off. Because
do you think
imagine the Everton and Southampton fans.
Do you think now is the time where we need to look at replacing the captain as well? Do we need to bring a player in that's going to look at replacing Lascelles as the captain of the club? Mark? Or is that one for the summer?
I think if we bring in a central defender, the likes of that we've been linked with, then it's unlikely Lascelles will play anyway.
Okay.
So we probably need to replace our captain in the side because he's not playing.
I thought Trippier maybe if he comes.
He's going to agree.
I'm not. I'm trying to think.
Jesus,
no, because
Wilson got to do
because Wilson, but he obviously is injured, isn't he? So I'm thinking who's going to take it instead of Shelby, isn't it? Because he's probably the one that's playing at the minute. No,
you'll never. You shouldn't. And I don't think you should. And I don't think we'll ever change the captain mid-season.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that shouldn't happen. Right. You just stay with what, unless the player leaves.
Suicide of Football Manager.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we'll physically say, right, you're the captain now. I think it's just the fact that he'll not be getting his game.
It kind of has happened in the past. Where I think when
I agree with that.
When Jeremy was captain and got dropped, Alan Smith took it on.
Yeah.
I think the thing is with Lascelles, I don't think he's probably the weakest, exception of Kieran Kloss, perhaps, of the first team, the first choice defenders that we have at the moment. But he was captain, and he was captain of 2/3 of that squad in the Championship. And he was apparently very popular, and he got them playing well, and he kind of... So I think... I made that Football Manager joke earlier, but I think there's a little bit of truth in that. Like if you'd been him off, you'd upset people because he's an influential player.
He'll have his mates in the dressing room, 100%.
Is the captaincy a big deal these days?
I think for the captain it is. Not something a stupid thing to say, but I think is a kind of confidence builder, is a kind of get the bloke's chest up and all that. Now, I think you've got to have captains. I think Richie was being a captain this time without wearing the armband necessarily. Lascelles obviously is an example of that. Callum Wilson, I think,
he's to a certain degree when he's
exactly that. I think Dubravka, he talks about his defence, and he's had a rotten time since he came back in. But I think the way he plays, the way he gets the defense organized and keep. I think you've got 3 or 4 captains in that team, but one who's kind of the, what would you call it, like a ceremonial captain almost in the cells.
Because I think in terms of moving forward as a football club, you need a better quality of centre half and you need a different captain. In the longevity,
come hand in hand with each
yeah,
other these
well,
days,
they do.
don't they?
Yeah, well, obviously in the position he plays, because obviously if we're going to get a better class of centre half, I would take Shea over Lascelles. Yeah, if that makes sense. If you're going to play 4 at the back, there's only 2 you've got to choose from, and I would upgrade in that department. That means Lascelles gets the bin,
and that's why I say rather than replacing the captain, you actually replacing the position in the team.
Yeah.
So we've been linked with 3 centre backs. So you've got Botman from Lille. You have Connor Cody, which got a bit quiet, so I can't really imagine him coming. I think that was all rumors.
I think that's just. I'm sure that just really came across because of his comments of when he said,
Possibly,
well done.
Possibly, but you've got
you feel Newcastle have they deserve it and that kind of thing. So people are just putting 2 and 2 together there.
Yeah, so you've got Burnley captain. There. Coming on a little bit of criticism over the last couple of games, saying he's not playing his best, but maybe now's the time for him to move clubs.
He has looked poor in his last couple of games, but maybe it is because he's unhappy. Well, they've said that he wants away. He wants to get out of Burnley.
His contract's up in the summer, isn't it?
So
well, there you go. Then get him in. Get him in.
I think.
Will Burnley let him go? That's
if they want some money, they will.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? All the talk of we're not going to sell this on Newcastle, and I don't even know how much truth there is in that. To be honest with you.
The rumours that we heard with Kieran Trippier is that clubs have been quoted a price less than Newcastle's quoted price to sign him. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to afford it.
It's going to happen. Who cares?
It's not my money.
Exactly. That's my
say it again.
So other clubs that had inquired about Kieran Trippier were quoted a cheaper price than what Newcastle were being quoted by him.
So me and you go to buy him. You can buy him for 20 million. But I've got to pay 25 million.
I don't think Atletico Madrid have got an issue with us. What do you think?
It's not that, but the
money loaded.
I think
that makes sense. I mean, I was going this corruption everyone hates.
Yeah.
No, I would understand that because they know I've got all the money. Yeah. So I would agree with that. I understand that. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
If you had to pick one of those 3 centre backs, Mark, which one are you going to go for? I can't speak massively about Botman because I don't
know anything about him.
Exactly.
I just love his
He's
name.
one of those players where everybody goes, "Oh, he's mint, absolutely mint." Like
his stats and everything like that point to him being very, very good.
We could go with Dennis Wise.
I haven't.
And listen, I agree. I've seen some of his stats as well. But I remember after we played Man United just the other night, they asked seen a Man United account on Twitter.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen
this about Varane. It was saying he's back and had all these clearances and first to the ball headers, and I was like, "Fucking hell."
I saw a similar one about
Maguire was the other one.
Yeah, Maguire saying, he's the pressures, which is a thing at the minute.
And I was like, wow, you can really manipulate stats to support your opinion, because I thought both of them were horrific, to be honest, against us. But sorry, I interrupted you there, Mark. Sorry.
No, I agree. I've sat here and said that loads of times about stats, haven't I? So, but that's what when you don't watch, a lot of that league and see his games, you don't really know how good he is. So you've just got to go with what people say about him in the press, what his stats are saying to you and stuff like that, and they come across very, very, very well.
And the quality of that league, I don't mean just disrespectful to football, but I mean he's not going against the likes of Kane and
not every week. No, you've got 2 or 3.
It's just such a high level.
Even like the likes of Marseille, who were like European champion 30 years ago. It's a long time ago now, I suppose, but they're not. They're not fantastic sides anymore. PSG are obviously a very good side, but you've got Marseille
from Lille. Obviously a French side, and was it Yangambiwa that were bought?
It was Montpellier. Lille's got Debussy and Kabay from. So after they won the league.
But if you look at the likes of Yangambiwa, he comes from Montpellier. He's supposed to be the next best French player, going to be the next French captain. Didn't really have a great time at Newcastle. I don't think he got the run of games that he deserved, but he didn't have a great time at Newcastle.
I think it was because the announcer, James, could never pronounce his name properly.
That's why.
I think I got under his skin a bit.
All right, okay.
It's that difference in football, though, as well, isn't it? Because he was very good on the floor with the ball. He could play football with it and pass it out and stuff like that. But in the rough and tough of it, that's where he was maybe
I remember that game
missing it a bit.
The game of Goodison were 2-0 down at one time. And it was Yangambiwa and Corricini, and neither of them. I
Did
think
you not
we
get
brought
taken
on-
off at half time?
We brought on Mike Williamson at half time. We changed the game. And I think we got beat 3-2.
Demabar played well when he come on.
Yeah,
And,
Kabai, I think, scored a raker from like 30.
Just to stop on the transfer talk, Josh Stockton has donated a bit of cash to it.
and Josh, lad,
Thanks,
legend.
Josh, mate.
Okay, Josh.
He says, "Hey lads, happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too, pal. It's been good having a big crack with you all in the Telegram group. Question for all of you. I'll come to you, Decker.
Mhm.
If we stay up, what do you think our expectations should be for next season?"
Well, mine are quite low. Like, if I'm honest with you, I think for me,
as low as mine.
well, it's you see how at the moment you want to stay in the division, but we are like desperately trying to stay in the division. Mine would be stay in the division comfortably. Does that make sense?
The
Like,
relegation.
yeah, just clear
out.
rather than like obviously at the minute I don't ever want to be in this situation again, of course. But I know people say, "Oh, mid-table." I think to be a mid-table side, you've got to be pretty.
Would you say like where Wolves are at the moment?
I think
Wolves are 7th or 8th at the moment.
I think if you stay clear of relegation comfortably, then you are mid-table at the minute.
Yeah,
well, that season we finished 12th. We were in a relegation battle till 5-6 games left, or maybe a bit more than that. So I think if you want to be comfortably clear, if you're talking like 45, 50 points, I think you're going to be finishing 12th, 13th with that anyway.
I wouldn't complain. I hope I get this across right. You know, there's certain times you see clubs where they get to a point in the season where there's nothing to play for.
Yeah.
They physically can't go really any higher. They're never going to get dragged into anything.
We did that a few times.
I would love to be this time next year. Not this time.
Now, bloody hell.
Sorry, I didn't mean this time. I meant like
I think we're on course winning the league.
that's it. We're winning the league. What I meant was like getting to a situation where we're so comfortable. You know what I mean? And it means maybe you can attack one of the cups or perhaps both. You don't know, but I would be. It would be lovely to have a season of football where we're not looking over our shoulder dangerously.
You'd have to bring the right players in this month.
We could be already.
We could have run the FA Cup this year. You know?
It starts on Saturday.
I was going to ask you about that. I've got a couple of questions to ask. Well, two. I only got two. I'll ask you later.
But I'm the same as you. Like I'd be over the moon to finish top 12 and have a good cup run.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
What's a good cup run?
Quarter, semis.
Like,
I think it's semi.
Quarters, semis.
We've got
Semis
a couple
would
of
be.
quarters last year. It depends on the draw. The thing I've never understood about the cups and people saying, "Oh, I think such and such are going to do well in the cup this year."
You don't know.
You could get the hardest draw possible in the first round. We've done it well. We're playing
last season. We had a pretty easy.
Unbelievable.
We did a few times.
Ridiculous easy.
I remember the championship.
Portugal did in the league
quarters of the League Cup. We got beat out the whole on penalties in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we did.
That's it.
It was the day I got me pet hamster.
That was when
it was.
He had bloody chocolate hands, didn't he? What's he calling goal? The lad he signs with that goalkeeper. Terrible.
Matt Sells, yeah.
Well, I just scored as well. I hadn't even sat down. I was with you, weren't I?
Yeah.
I hadn't even sat down.
You weren't with me, but you're on the table next to us.
It was the bloke got sent off for Hull. Do you mercy Mbakani? It was at Norwich.
It was an eventful game though,
because they were in the Premier League at the time. When it was like they kind of dovetailed us for a couple of years, but we were a much better side there. But yeah, we've had cup runs that have ended in the quarters. We've had favourable draws.
But Bruce got to the quarters against Man City. We got beaten. It wasn't for Shea being absolutely brain dead. Shea was a disgrace in that game.
Yeah, he was
a disgrace.
Yeah, he was really
absolute disgrace. Could have, who knows what might happen there. And then Brentford was the one, I think, where
last year
that could have been the semis, and we're playing against a championship club, and we look like a League One side.
We were awful.
We could go into the FA Cup this season, and I'm dreaming here.
Not wrong with that.
We could go into the FA Cup.
You dream.
We could get to the final. We could win it, and be in Europe next year
and go down. You mean?
No, we'll stay up. Stay up has got to be the target.
Yeah.
So this you've got to have your spike. Because I seen that was a question the other day, wasn't it? Is would you take Newcastle to be relegated but win the FA Cup, or
I would love to.
Would you stay up and not win the FA Cup?
We've been relegated 3 times in the last 12, 13 years. Or twice. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm 6 months ahead of myself. I've not won a cup since before my dad was born. Let's win a cup.
I've always answered that question saying safety.
I think
the FA Cup this season. Relegate me, get me that FA Cup.
Trust them
because we can come back.
I totally agree with you, because I had not an argument, but a discussion with George when we went to West Brom away, I think it was, and he asked me that question, and all of us, and he said, would you take going down? Would you take winning this cup now, because we're in the FA Cup at the time, and going down this season? Absolutely not. And George was like, no, not like, surely you want to win a cup. And I went, no, because this time next year we'll not be thinking about winning the cup. We'll be thinking about playing Reading away, and we're 7th, or 8th. Like, we'll not be thinking of winning the FA Cup. I say it's fine. However, I agree with Mark completely in that if we went down now, it would be all right.
Yeah.
It would be all right.
And that's my viewpoint.
I remember going to watch really little cup. It was the Johnson's Pain Cup final.
Aye.
It was we played Norwich away one year. Mimi Dad went down, and it was that final was that weekend. Barnsley against Oxford. It's Wembley, so that's only like an hour and a half on the train from Norwich to London, as Mark well knows.
It's longer than that, surely.
So I said, "My dad, do you want to get tickets for it? We'll go and have a." So we went down there, and it was like Barnsley won the cup, beaten 3-1, a good game, and all that. And at the end of it, you know what? You watch it on telly. I've never been to a cup final. I couldn't afford to go when I was a kid. The two we were at. When the game finishes, like the players go off the pitch, you have to go. Life still continues afterwards. It's not this kind of massive. That's that. But it's like a happy ending in the film. You've still got to go on afterwards. So if you win a cup when you're top of the league, or you win a cup and you get relegated, there's still going to be disappointment somewhere down the line. Even Man City, they kind of quite get it right in the Champions League. They finished second. They lost the Liverpool a couple of times. They had some hammer. It doesn't always. Fuck, get relegated, win a cup. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen at some point anyway.
So win the cup, get into Europe, get relegated.
Aye.
I mean, I'd take it, but I'd rather stay up and have the other two as well.
So you want to stay up now?
If I can stay up, I want to stay up.
I think I still win a cup.
But if we,
of course you would.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I want to happen.
If that's on the table.
But if you're saying you can win the FA Cup, you can qualify for Europe, but you get relegated, this season I'll take that.
I think we need to be realistic, and we're not going to win the cup.
Well, probably not. So
my question to you was coming tonight. I was thinking,
you with little faith.
I know you're right, man. Surprisingly, I've got no faith. Would you believe it? Would you? Well, Cambridge is our next game, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you quite happily, literally shelve it, like put on under 23s and just take what hittings, take what lashings, and move on?
I think the position we're in right now, a cup run right now, is gonna be a distraction for us.
Yeah.
As much as I agree, the other side of that coin was, do you think it could build confidence in that? What might be Cambridge 5-0 saying, I don't know.
But then in the same breath, if you're going to get beat by the likes of a lower league team, it's the opposite effect. Then we've just had 2 injuries in the Premier League game. We could get
I do worry about more games. I worry about more games, but I do also think the confidence side of, you're winning games, you're scoring goals.
I think that there's enough in the squad. I mean, away from the first team, like Matty Longstaff's home now. Is he fit? Has he got COVID? Or is he like knackered or something?
I think he's all right. Yeah. No,
Matty and Sean's been playing quite a bit. Hayden's out knackered. Gale could play. There's enough around the squad. I think that you could get a team together.
You could change about 6 players.
You could get a team together that should, with no disrespect to Cambridge, should be able to handle them. They're still
university.
Even like
the only position I worry about.
We said that about Oxford.
Unless they bring
just saying.
God, Bruce played a full strength.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Was it
who was it who played a full strength?
Bruce against Oxford. It was a full strength. We're going to absolutely batter these.
It was Steve
Bruce. 0-0 or 1-1 or something. It was.
The only position that I worry about there in a cup game, if we're saying, we can make all these changes, it's probably centre back.
I don't know. Fernandez is just kicking his heels.
He's still injured, isn't he?
Oh, I keep forgetting he's injured.
Yeah.
I've got to think we had that Graham Jones just doesn't like him. So
we got Clark and Lascelles.
Clark's.
Listen, Clark. If Clark can't beat a university, if he can't stop them, come on. I'm not a Clark fan, but I'm all right with them at the moment. Like for the Cambridge,
unless they bring a boat with them.
Be the fucking boring.
He'll be fine.
Clark, right. I feel a bit sorry for Clark. He's not been good enough to get us wrong, but I think he was good enough in the championship. And when we first came back, he was solid enough. I think he's deserving a bit more leeway. I'm not saying he should be playing football for it, but I think people have been a bit harsh.
What should he be doing? Selling programs?
No, I
should be selling coasters.
Sell them on, obviously. not for too much money though. Not for 19 pence more than.
The ceramic or the cork.
Brilliant.
He's not good enough to move him on, but I think the criticism's been a little bit. Maybe he's been moved on a little bit too late.
Would you say it's been bad? I think it's just been as bad as Bruce got. I don't see any problems with the Clark. Anyone's had a go at him? I don't feel.
Quite a bit. Clark's getting
I've had a bit of a go, but
I think if Clark had been told 18 months ago, he'd have been remembered quite fondly.
But what do you mean about people having a go? Just people saying that you're not good enough? Is that having a go?
It depends, doesn't it? I mean, how things can be.
You know what it is? Next month it'll be when Clark leaves. I was getting death threats. My family were getting it. Bestie spinning that false narrative.
It's just me kind of saying that.
I've seen more people.
Luke, you want to do now?
Like a lot of people have had a go at Saint recently. And I think this is when I laugh a little bit about the situation. I'm like, people are having a go at Saint, and then all of a sudden I'm not against you, Bestie, but people say, but Clark, Richie, for example, Richie, he's a good servant. He's done his best. And that, man, what? Like, there's a time in life where, thanks for coming. Thanks for what you've done. You've got to promote. You should have really been gone years ago.
I totally agree with that. Like, yeah.
But thanks for what you've done, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because you've literally mentioned in a sentence, all the best to you, great, but you shouldn't be playing football for us.
Yeah,
in a nice sentence.
You have to go at him.
I agree with Richie as well. If they'd been sold 12, 18 months ago, you're going like, oh, well, that's not too bad. But I think people have been a little bit unfair.
Would have missed him last season, to be fair.
I'm not sure if they've been
We'll have missed him last season.
A little bit like,
have they been unfair?
Yeah, I think so.
With the errors that he's made? Yes, he's been a great servant, but most footballers that come to your club, most footballers that spend that much time at a club are good servants to the football club.
Yeah, he was very good up until last season.
But you're going to call him
last season, he got us out of a lot of shit playing left back.
You're going to call him out despite how long he's been at the club.
Do you mean Clark? Yeah.
You're going to call him
out. We've talked on this podcast when we were only Ashley, I think, so a while ago, but he was the first name in the team sheet in the back four.
I think he was the top goal scorer.
Well, there was a game where he came in against Burnley away. I was when Richie missed that open goal from the back post. But Clark scored.
Yes,
remember that?
Yeah.
How do you miss that? But anyway, he came in as captain. So he hadn't played for weeks, Clark. And Rafa brought him back in and started him as captain. And he had a blinder. He scored. And my West Ham away, he came in and scored. Someone played a lovely header back over. He scored. And I thought, geez, I know he's doing a lot of that end of the field.
That's the season that all the defenders were scoring
goals.
Bruce
was getting shit for them.
Bruce's first season.
Yeah.
After all those years of not being able to score from a set piece.
And he was doing really, really well. And that was the point where everyone was going, God, he is quite happy to sit in the cold, not cause any, doesn't cause any issues for it. Comes in, does a great job. Fantastic, great. That's what you're there for. Obviously, more recently though, it's almost been week after week. I'm just saying, clanger.
He has really forgot how to head a ball.
Yeah. And there comes a time where, as I say, and this is another thing as well. I do hate this tune a little bit. Like, if I'm being really honest, and how long has it been? It's been a while, yeah. 45 minutes. Rafa, when obviously...
I mentioned about 5 minutes.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean to disrespect Rafa here, but I do get a little bit tired of the argument where they go, well, Rafa was playing at getting a tune out with these. Yeah, but they were 4 years ago or whatever. Like, Clark would have been however old he was then. Like, of course, he's going to regress. He's going to get worse. Yeah. That just happens, right? Like, people get comfortable. That's why players move on. Like,
people, injuries take that toll. Clark has had some injuries.
He has had injuries, yeah. That does annoy us, that one.
I remember Danny Rose, because we had him. He broke his leg for Spurs. He's not been the same player since. He's poor now. Like, he was dreadful for us. Apparently so.
Well, apparently he wasn't dreadful to us, according to some people on my Twitter the other day. When I questioned whether Trippier would be... Well, no, sorry, I didn't question whether Trippier would be better. I said he would be infinitely better than the last one we had, and there was people in my mentions defending Danny Rose, saying he wasn't bad at all.
Well, he kind of defended himself very well. Like,
well, I thought again, another going back to this is a good one actually in terms of the window we've got now. Is I remember when we signed Danny Rose, I thought, fucking hell, that's a cracking signing for where we are, what we are, blah blah blah. And it kind of like, this is me worry of this window, is that you get a name that you go, class. You think, I think everyone thought Danny Rose was going to be better than he was by a big margin.
I really thought he would be a good signing.
I did as well.
I hope he would be.
Yeah, and he was dreadful.
The difference is Trippier's still doing it.
Oh, I totally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Trippier's in. I think it was first team, and they've just won the league.
For example, two questions I've got. One is goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Dubravka. Thoughts? Bestie, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on Dubravka?
I think since he's come back from his injury, he's been really poor. Like, really poor.
Wow.
I'm unfair.
Like, honestly, I thought I was going to be the only one that said that.
No, I think you look at that. He's always had a bit of a mistake, and we've had runs where he's kind of thrown a couple of free kicks in. He had that weird moment in the Euros where it was kind of
Jesus,
that was weird. I couldn't get around that. But this season, you look at some of the mistakes he's made. That one against Man U, obviously I've not seen his since then. Where towards the end of the game, where he came to the edge of the box,
drops it.
He just didn't. Did he lose it in the lights or what? I don't understand what happened there. But
he caught it and come down, and he
could have been. I thought it was a penalty going to happen there. I thought there's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, and he did. If anything, he did fairly well. To stop himself, because he see him chasing the ball, and he thought, no, I've got to. And he did okay there. But I think you look at the mistakes he's made. I don't think. Let's get me words right here. I think if Caldwell had been in goal for this run that we've had since, there would have been a massive difference, to be honest with you, in that regard. I do think Dubravka's a better keeper than Darlow, but he's not as good a keeper as he was 12 months ago.
There was actually a stat, I don't know if you've seen the same stat, but on Sky Sports today, that Dubravka's made the second lowest save attempts in the league.
Really?
Bottom of the league is Freddie Woodman. Third bottom of the league is Caldolo.
Let's save attempts.
Like save percentages.
Right. So it's not that they're not diving for it.
So it's the amount of shots they faced versus how many they actually save.
Well, have conceded the most goals. Norwich might be ahead of one now.
Norwich are ahead.
Well, I know he's on about.
That's a strange stat to throw at a goalkeeper, especially goalkeeper that's haven't
I
got.
wouldn't throw anything. These three keepers I wouldn't throw a fucking thing at it.
Yeah, but that's what they always say, because and it goes back to what Decker just said before about stats can be used any which way you want.
Yeah.
You look, those same stats that are used there, Dubravka has been at the opposite end of the league for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
He has.
Because he's faced a hell of a lot of shots and he saved a hell of a lot of them.
Shea Given was always quite, in my memory at least, I think he was an excellent stopper, probably the best stopper I've ever seen in Newcastle. I don't think he was the best keeper I've ever seen in Newcastle. Or maybe he was, but that's because we haven't really had wonderful keepers.
I think we've been a
Given
little
was
harsh,
the best keeper we've had.
Well,
I think we've been harsh
long
because if you look in the last couple of games,
he wasn't as good as I
Dubravka
remember.
has kept us in games.
Oh yeah, he has.
His
And
debut
even in the Man United game, he made a couple of very good saves.
I think
his debut
I
against Man U, I remember
it's-
he's made some like incredible saves.
not even think the last couple of games.
I wouldn't be looking. I'm not saying I'd be looking to replace him
That was me
at
question.
all. I'm not looking. I'm not looking to replace him.
About his distribution yet.
Oh, horrendous! It's horrendous.
Jesus, look what's happened to that.
Horrendous.
That
He
was
can't kick a ball,
one
man.
of his big.
Exactly.
He's
yes.
not. I would be looking to replace him. Maybe in the summer, but he's not a priority for me. Like,
No, he's not. I agree there.
Do you know what I would like to do? I
I've
would like
been-
to replace the defenders in front of him
Yeah.
first,
Oh, 100%.
then see what
Yeah.
we get from him.
But
that's a fair shout. Like,
I think he's done some unbelievable saves recently, by the way. He did one against Man United where he was 6 yards out.
yeah.
Header. Just remarkable. Like, honest to God, there's not many better in the league, I think, that can save the unexpected. You know what you think?
You know what it is? I
What a
think
save.
Darlow's up there for that.
Yeah, Darlow is as well. I
His
guess.
shot stopping's unreal, but it's the rest of his game that I find really poor.
Every game I've seen Dubravka back, right? And I'm not just saying it to try and make a point, but whoever I've been around with, Liverpool away, I said it loads of times. I was with my dad the other day and I said it. And I've like kind of leaned across and went, if Darlow did that, they'd be hell on. Like I feel as if I went on Twitter at the end of every game I've watched, people would say, I can't wait till Dubravka's back. If that was Darlow with the same performance I've just seen, people would say, I cannot wait till Dubravka's back.
But he never says that about Saint.
Never. But
The thing is, I want right. So if you ask the question, do you want to improve on Dubravka? Of course you do. You want to improve on every single player on that field, every single one of them.
But he's the back of the queue.
But he's very, very low down on the list.
Let's just be fair. I brought that question up not to say January the third ways with keeper. I wasn't meaning that. I just meant what was your thoughts on him coming back? What's your thoughts? And Bestie's kind of with me.
I'll judge him after we clean that defense up.
He's not having a good time at the minute, but am I concerned right now? No, because he'll save us as many points as he'll give away.
I think he's
And there's no difference from that between this season and any of the other seasons that we've had.
I think he's certainly the best keeper at the club by a distance. I think Woodman just hasn't looked the part when we played.
He needs a loan. He needs a loan.
He's had a few loans. He's not a young lad.
He needs a loan. I think he just needs to go, mate.
I think you've got to sever your ties there a bit. Like
It was almost every
But
week.
look at the season he had at Swansea. He was brilliant for them.
Yeah, but it's championship though. I'll just show you on repeat that them 2 Ronaldo goals. Remember the Man United man? He dropped it in front of him.
Yeah.
Remember, he dropped one in front of him. The other one was straight through his legs. Like it's
something. I remember his debut I think it was his debut was against Luton in the cup. Beating 3-0 St James's, and he looked shaky then against Luton. I think we're in League One at the time, and he just didn't look comfortable at all. And I thought, this isn't promising. This. So I remember doing a stadium tour years and years and years ago when I was a kid. And there was an old fella where you walking down a tunnel and he says, I remember being stood in this tunnel where they were playing Tottenham. It might have been the first game. And he said, do you look at Darren Anderton? And he's like, his knees were knocking together. And it's like, some players just can't play here. I think the example he gave as a home player was Steve Guppy.
Yeah.
So Steve Guppy he was, it might be Beresford who said, he said he was just shit scared at St James's Park. And it's not, the atmosphere is not what it was 25 years ago. I think let's do this.
It's getting there.
Just bring
It's
it
getting
back.
there.
Just bring it back to more recent with Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's just Newcastle rather than
Bizarre
City
because
as well.
you watch him playing for England, you think, well, he's like he's a safe pair of hands.
I don't think I've ever seen a fan base get under a player's skin quite as much as that afternoon.
Wonderful, isn't it?
That was bearing in mind he saved a penalty as well. Like we were winning the game, he had already saved a penalty.
Should have been sent off as well.
And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
But you just look at the I think it was the same season when he catches the ball behind the line.
Oh yes, that's
right.
Was it season after?
So he catches the ball and takes a step
that was Lejeune.
Oh no, he's already behind the line. I feel a bit sorry. I think he was unlucky there.
He's behind the line, like.
Oh, it's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's been a bit of a melee in the box, and he's just trying to get position. He's ended up behind the goal. I think it's a bit unfortunate.
The thing with Woodman, right? And you're saying that he needs another loan mark. How old do you think Woodman is?
I think he must be about
24.
24.
He's 25. So do you loan a keeper out? That's 25-year-old.
Not if you're hoping for them to
third choice keeper.
If you're not good enough by 25, I mean,
you think Fraser Forster was gone by then, and he's a better keeper than Woodman.
He needs first team football, and he's at the career now where what's your prime for a keeper? Late 20s, early 30s.
I'd be keeping Woodman as your backup and getting shot at Darlow.
You would honestly trust
I
Woodman?
think Darlow's a better keeper than Woodman.
I think both of them go.
I mean, Darlow must be pushing 30. He must be 29, 30. He's 30.
Yeah, Darlow's knocking on.
So
that's what I mean. That's why
I would keep if he wanted to stay. I think Darlow's is good. A second choice keeper in amongst the bottom 14, shall we say?
Why did Steve Harper a second choice keeper? He's about 48. Like your second choice, I can. Man City do it. The Brungan Richard, right? He was 108. You can keep your second choice out.
Remember when
Harper to be pretty old? You know, yeah.
Pre-season against Celtic.
Yeah.
But keepers go. I mean, Pepe Reina's still playing. He's 45.
That's what I mean. As a second choice.
I'm 40 in a few weeks. I'm still ripping.
But in fairness, I do agree with the overall point of get rid of both of them and upgrade. And again, I don't mean by this window.
Over
time.
Here. Yes,
I'm having a discussion about over time, not over this month. That's what I mean.
So, Man U game. We'll get injuries to Callum Wilson. We'll get injuries to Saint. Saint one doesn't look bad.
Did we?
He's probably going to, injuries, Southampton fans. Is it a worry now that we're going to have to probably go out Decker and get two strikers? Or did we always need two strikers?
No, I don't think you'll ever. No, we didn't need two. No, I would love to know the initial thought process of where striker was on the list. If there was one on there, I'd imagine there would be, but I'm not so sure. I believe if Wilson was fit going into this window, let's say he was fine against Man United, I think with having Wilson and Gale, I think they would have kind of shelved that and go, okay, right, let's look somewhere else for now.
Okay.
Perhaps a left back, centre half, blah, blah. With Wilson getting injured, though, that does feel to me that wherever you had a striker on your list, it has to dramatically move up because I don't feel how rate or trust Gale in any shape or form.
And that's why I think there's a striker on the list because I think you'd get rid of Gale.
I'm not saying there wouldn't be.
But do you now look at somebody that potentially replaces Wilson or on the same level as what Wilson is to us?
Well, it'd be nice. It would be nice. I struggle with the name. I mean, there's Aubameyang's being mentioned.
Not for me, Jeff.
It's just not for me. It's not for. Having said what I've just said, I'd probably take him on loan at the end of the season. Like.
The thing with Aubameyang, right? If you just completely forget the last couple of weeks of his attitude with Arsenal, blah blah blah, he's away for a month for African Cup of Nations.
That's true. I'll give you that one. Yeah,
he's a wonderful. And he's day.
If it wasn't for the African Cup of Nations, I couldn't give a fuck what he's doing at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Couldn't give.
I just feel that sometimes certain players, like I know we're looking. I still think sometimes we'll look at the immediate, and I just feel all right. He goes to the African Cup of Nations. All right, his attitude shit. If he comes back though in March or in April
6
and scores 3 or 4 that are the winners, all of a sudden it's the best bit of business you've ever done.
Thing is he back? I don't know. Is the Cup of Nations after Wilson's due to return from injury?
Probably
6 weeks. He's
how long is out for?
Meant to be out for, so that's what mid-Feb.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
So it'll be pretty much
because now I don't think he's had the opportunity to bring Gale on, didn't he? Certainly against Man United. That to me looked the obvious choice, but no, he put Saint up front.
He did in the end, didn't he? When Saint came off,
because he had him.
He had no choice then. Yeah, he had no choice.
So do you feel as if now we'll look at a permanent signing and a loan, a striker?
I think if you're shipping Gale out,
yes.
Even Gale, I think
I would like to have thought that there would have been.
It's your squad numbers though.
An improvement on Gale.
Drop one of them.
I'd like to have thought that there'd be an improvement on Dwight Gale, and I think Gale's. I'll cite what I said about Clark and Richie. I think Gale's been in the Championship. He got up.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. But I think it's time. It's beyond time, really.
that's
why I
asked
say
you, Blackburn, do you fancy getting Dwight Gale? Yeah, have Dwight Gale and £10 million. We love Brereton.
Maybe so. It's interesting. He's been around for a while as well, Brereton. It's not as if he's like a one season. Yeah, it's just a strange.
He's having a very good
season,
season, to be fair.
I'll
Like,
look at the championship though, and we'll look at Mitrovic, like we mentioned on the last recording that we've done. Another player that's performed unbelievably
the different
well
players, though. Different
it
players.
doesn't matter, they're both performing well in the championship.
If we go down, I get Mitrovic. Like,
it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk.
It is. There's not many players can do the step up. I feel Ivan Toney.
It hasn't worked out that well for Adam Armstrong so far, has it?
Not at all. No, I think Tony's done amazingly well.
Yeah,
but I think as a player though, he gives a lot. I think he's a great footballer, to be honest. Him. But I do think, bearing in mind where we are and what we need with Wilson being out, to go and buy someone from the championship and go, there you go, lad, you're up front, you're going to be the guy for it.
Yeah.
In the middle of a season, it's tough work, right?
There's been a couple of shouts for the wall striker. Got his name. Just came back from injury.
Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Mexican fella.
Saying that he needs a fresh start as well.
I'd have him, like
100%.
Absolutely, I think he's a great striker.
He's obviously been had injuries and stuff, but again, I mean, are these players available? Would Wolves want to really sell him? Probably not.
But you want to come to Newcastle? I mean, it's
I
gonna,
know,
for the money, I think you probably would, obviously. But
I think that's another thing. Again, I know that we're going to be throwing money at people, but it's the position we're in, isn't it? Like, if we were sitting ninth now, potentially boosting up from January to get to Europe, everyone would come. Probably everybody would come that would want. But now being where we are, it's very much like, do I want to move my whole family up to the northeast? Thinking
maybe this is where we'll have to look at that loan market though for these sort of players.
I agree with that. Loan to buy. I really
we
do.
can get 4 loans in. We can get 2 domestic and 2 international. So
I think you pay heavy for a loan.
pay a fee.
It's only what it is, isn't it? A loan fee's high.
Yeah.
Pay the loan fee that is as high as it needs to be. Wijnaldum, for example, you mentioned before, pay whatever the loan fee needs to be to get work to stay up in the division, and then we'll reset in the end of the summer, and then decide what we're going to do moving forward.
Well, that's it. If your loan fees and transfers are probably not going to cost as much as a rebuild in the championship.
Yeah,
as much as I've got faith that they would invest in the playing staff in the championship to get them back up. Yeah, still better off. And we said this under Ashley. He's given them loans of however many million to get them back up. He didn't put the money in the first, but he wouldn't need to do that. It's speculative, accumulate, and it's all spend the money now. You don't need to go down. So for me, I pay the money.
You pay more than money just to get them players in that.
I think you have to.
Yeah,
you
totally.
have to now.
Yeah, isn't it nice that it's a possibility?
Well, we couldn't even.
12 months ago going like, oh, yeah,
Chowdhury for $1 million. That we wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even do that.
I'll play devil's advocate, right? Bessie, let's say we're sat here in 3 weeks' time.
Yes.
And the only player we brought in is Kieran Trippier.
Mm-hmm.
Does that worry you a little bit going into the summer?
Yes. Yeah, I think it would do, because it kind of goes back to the whole thing about they should have had a director of football sorted out before they did. They should have been quicker with Bruce and Howe, all of which I think are valid criticisms. And I don't think it's just. I think there's a little bit of impatience. I think there's also. I think it's also true to say that they've not fudged, but maybe haven't been quite as. Their inexperience has shown, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think if that happened during this window of kind of things went wrong, the Trippier thing might not happen. Yeah, you know us sitting here saying, oh, well, if he's the only one, he might not come at all yet. If it's not a good window, if I haven't got a couple of players in by the end of it and a good standard of players, I think you can kind of go like, oh, maybe this isn't.
This is what we've been sold here.
Yeah, this wasn't in the brochure.
To go back to what you said there about the director of football, are you surprised that someone hasn't been brought in?
I was expecting, when we sat here, when we had George on, whenever that was, October after the pay. Yeah. I was expecting by the end of the year we would have had someone in, like, because was Emanuela was the big.
You would have thought before this transfer window.
Yeah, certainly.
But again, how much of that was just paper talk?
I don't know. That's right. That does appear to be the model they're going for, though. So you'd like to have thought. I mean, there's a fella from Brighton. Is the latest? Is he director of football, or is he technical director?
He's technical director.
Different thing, isn't it? Or is that the same thing?
Well,
I don't really understand.
He just has more. He has more of an
Ashworth?
involvement in the club.
Yes,
Dan Ashworth. Did you say that?
He's done a great thing for BT Sports, and Jake Humphrey was asking about it.
I saw that.
Fantastic. I think it's around about 8 minutes interview, and he's saying like he's in charge of the men's side, the women's side, academy, transfers.
He was involved with implementing St George's Park, wasn't he?
Yeah,
England as well.
Yeah, he's involved with the FA.
I mean, that's a CV. That like if he comes in, then you think, well, that's ambitious. That's the kind of thing that we want, because we've lamented for a long time about the state of the training facilities.
What a word
women's
that is.
team lamented.
What a word that is.
He was also the man who Eddie Howe shook hands of when he attended the Brighton game with Man City.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Walking downstairs, and if you look back, Eddie Howe takes a few steps and somebody shouts for him, then he goes back up a few steps.
I didn't know that.
And it's Ashworth, yeah.
There's a lot, like we've talked about the training ground, the state of that, and I mean the women's team weren't even part of the club officially until maybe a year ago, maybe slightly less. So when Newcastle are a bit of a basket case, I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, we're just behind, years behind.
Yeah, we are a long way behind.
Most of our clubs, and one is Brighton. I mean, for example, Brighton, some of their recruitment has been awesome, been absolutely awesome. Some of their recruitment,
yeah, down to Potter.
Yeah, Potter.
I'm not saying it's down to Potter, but down to Potter. I think he's
and this,
I hadn't heard of him.
Dan's like in that interview as well. He says, because one of the questions asked is, "Are you worried that one of the bigger teams comes in and tries to take Graham Potter?" And he said, "Well, if that's what happens, that's what happens. Like the club just move on."
He says basically, if that happens, then it shows that we're all right.
Yeah,
didn't he? Like that means that we've got it right. Potter's shown it's been a showcase for him. He's gone on and he's now managing. Whomever. And so, I think that's right.
Unbelievably well in that interview.
Very well indeed. Well. And that's if that's the caliber of bloke they're going for, and if they do end up getting me, that does make me think, well, maybe there is obviously there's long-term strategy.
Yeah.
But the thing I think is the PIF, who are obviously totally separate to the Saudi government and Saudi state, they didn't hang around for as long as it did to buy a football club and go like, we're just going to pay a couple of million here. Do what Ashley did.
Yeah.
They want a brand. They want a successful, and we just happen to be the lucky or not. That's a different argument altogether, isn't it? But Newcastle are that.
I'll go lucky, like
financially.
Well, yeah. And
I know what you're saying.
Aye. No, and I agree. I'm just so excited. Like I want to see Newcastle win, and that's what football is these days, and unfortunately, but they haven't bought us. They haven't hung around. They haven't knocked about with Staveley and with the Rubens and whatnot. Just to kind of like kick a can down the road and go like, we'll put a couple of million. They'll be looking to do.
I haven't done a piss in the wind, like.
Nah. And I've described it as a cup measuring contest before, and I think that's a bit what it is. They want to go like, right, here's what we can do.
Especially in the Middle East.
Yeah, totally.
So they're up against Man City. Let's remember, exactly. You're up against Man
PSG
City
as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's going to take you years to get.
That is a great point, because there's so many people that just have zero patience. The fact that it's, we're dating into the transfer window. Why haven't we signed anybody? Why haven't we signed a director of football? Why haven't we got a manager? These things just don't happen like that. Have a bit of patience.
Yeah.
It's a big rebuilding process.
I would get it if we got like the third week in January, right? Say we've played 2 games, so a cup game and the Premier League game, and you get a new thing.
Yeah.
Fuck, we haven't brought anybody in
yet.
Even,
you know what it is? Even if we get to the third week of the transfer window, I'm still not shitting it.
I'm getting worried.
I'm maybe a little bit dubious.
You would be nervous if Ashley was in charge.
Yeah.
If it was a third week.
But how many times do you see a huge amount of business happening in those last couple of days of the transfer window?
Yeah.
So if we're sitting here in 4 weeks' time, then yes, and now it's happened. That's a different story. 3 weeks, we've still got a time to make changes.
Strange that way. I'm almost looking forward to the last year that I'm going to get a yes in.
This is the first time, and I'll say it. Yeah, in the last day of the January transfer window, we'll do it in here.
Do a lot.
Unless
we've already done all the business, and
it doesn't matter.
And they're not at the training ground.
We'll have a few drinks.
Before the Watford game, I want Elton John paraded around the ground in a black and white shirt.
I don't know if any of you heard Keith.
He's
Downey
a magpie man.
I think he was on Sky. It was on Sky Sports News doing something. I was on Twitter. I seen it, but it was on for a couple of minutes. Yeah,
he was there first thing this morning. Yeah,
but he done an interview on Sky Sports and said someone asked him the question of, so who is it that's actually in charge of the transfers then? Because they haven't getting a director of football, and he mentioned somebody's name that they've brought in.
It's
he was at Reading, I believe, and somewhere else.
He was an advisor at the consortium, wasn't he?
Not Keith Andrews.
I could be right.
I don't think it's him, but
the name is totally.
There was someone at Reading that is apparently
Reading
advising.
Yes, so apparently he's the one that is like almost acting up.
Adam LaFondra or something like that.
Well, they did say when they came in that they had football advisors.
That's right.
That were working in the background with them.
Well, they've got to, haven't they? They're not going to buy a football club and go like, "Fuck, what now?"
Yeah.
Oh, actually, did
exactly.
I suppose like so.
Shit, what we're going to do with that kid that was doing the netball advisory last week?
But Mike actually did do that.
He did.
We'll get Kevin Keegan.
It's all right. He kept that T-boy on and gave him the chairman's job.
Oh, calf, bless her. Got kept on.
Well,
God rest her soul.
Did you?
Well, yeah.
Did he not sack her at some point?
I don't think so.
No, I think she just left.
She retired then she
I think she just left, mate.
Have I not?
How long the story of Cat the Tea Lady?
I'm sure
Nah, she didn't get sacked. Nah, I'm not having it.
Allegedly. I'm sure that the guy that does the tours now is our son.
You're right. You're just making. Do you know what you're making up? Do you know, like when you go to Benidorm, goes, that's Sticky Vicky's daughter. That's what you just made up. Yeah. But Newcastle.
No. I've definitely
the tour guide is Captaincy lady's son.
I've definitely
he's
seen
talking shit, man. Again,
I've definitely heard a story or seen it or something where the guy that does the tour is Captaincy lady's son. And
can we get that? Is anyone in the comments that would know that? Can we get that? I'd like to know that because that sounds like a very Mark Walker thing to say.
I've definitely read it or heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
When was the last time you went on a stadium tour?
What, a couple of years back now, like.
What about more than 2 years ago? Because you haven't mentioned this in God knows how many years to us sat around here.
No, he didn't say it to me. He said it to somebody that had been on.
I am, ma'am.
On a tour.
Every time we walk past the kettle.
Mum, I've got the Jammy Dodgers.
Okay, now.
Jet was a kettle or one of those big.
So it was somebody that had been on a tour, and the tour guide was.
No, so Daryl's in the comments. Daryl says, pretty sure she retired. They made a fuss of it at the time.
They did, yeah.
They did. I remember that as well.
They definitely did. It was Alan Shearer on Twitter going, "Ashes."
Well, I know now when you go into the press, area,
section,
there's a corner to the side which is the Captaincy lady tea
so
corner.
So it's like I don't even know what you call it, like an institution at the club, right? Cappers it.
Just part of the furniture.
Like, remember
what I mean, and that's why he was.
Remember old Stevie?
That's why he was so annoyed that she'd been treated the way she had.
Newcastle Cassidy dies. He's 90.
So
90.
Patrick, hang on. We've actually got a tour guide in the comments.
Cassidy retired.
No, we have not.
She retired age 88. She was the special guest at the club's game against Norwich.
So Patrick, who actually was employed as a tour guide at the club, apparently says, "I was a tour guide for 5 years. Left 2 years ago. That's news."
Well,
to
it
me.
must be somebody. It must be somebody that became a tour guide in the last 2 years.
Oh God!
I'm telling. Well, it might be bollocks, but I'm definitely. I've read it.
Man.
I've read that was
You
the
know what it
case.
is? We're playing no, but I was thinking, how's Mark going to do it tonight? And here we are.
Right at the end. Last hurdle, he's done it.
Godzilla reckons the tea lady retired last year. She's been dead for 5 years.
Absolute Mark, honestly, every single time.
I'm telling you, I've read that. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I read that.
You wrote it down on a bit of paper.
You're presenting it as though you really believe it.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things I want to touch on before we're going for over an hour now.
Brilliant.
Just to wrap it up, we've had a little bit of a discussion over the last 24 hours.
20 half 9, man. Go to 10:15.
Okay.
Get some questions.
Right. So, any questions? Send them
He just
our
doesn't want to get home to his bloody wife and kids.
way. Any questions? Send them our ways.
Back at work tomorrow
The
after 2 weeks
little
off.
argument that was sold between the written press and the TV media. What's your thoughts on that, Bestie? So, give people a rundown. So, the first tweet was from Pete
Graves, Sky Sports News, who said that he was a little bit surprised, or he maybe had a chuckle, was it, at some of the names?
Some of the names being given.
But
different outlets.
Yeah, but there's some people that he hasn't seen mentioned that he's kind of thinks that he's heard that. And then, Pete, easy mistake to make, tweeted that about, was it 7, 8 o'clock last night? And I saw Luke jump on it, and Luke was quite defensive about the written press.
Yeah.
Luke does this thing. I feel as though every podcast I say, I'm not having a go at Luke here. And I'm not having a go at Luke here. But Luke does this thing. Luke, I'm not having a go. I like Luke a lot. And I'll kind of qualify this by saying that when Luke says something, I generally speak, and I think, well, there's probably some truth in it. Not obviously Bruce, obviously. But when he says something, the takeover he's bang on about, and he's generally speaking, I think what he seems, his sources are good. But it'll always be, you'll read a headline, and it'll be he says, "Oh, read the article. You read the headline, not the article." I'm not paying for a fucking Telegraph subscription. I'm not a Tory. Fucking straight away and getting a bin without like.
Check out what's it like reading the Telegraph.
Fuck off.
I'm not paying £11 to read what.
No, I'm with you, man. I hate he does it all the time.
He does it, and I think
another one that's only read the headline. Well, fucking make your headlines better. Then.
But to be fair to him on the headlines,
bollocks.
He always does say when there's a misleading headline, he always complains about it.
Well, headlines on the writers, the editor does a headline rather than, so he's not at fault. He's not at fault at all, really. But I did a fella that I know isn't very friendly with us, so I've always got on with him. That I used to do a podcast for True Faith with, or he was a True Faith when I did a podcast for them. He says to him, I think, look, he says, if you go to go to the Athletic, I'll read you every day, no problem. But not a Telegraph. It was Michael Martin. But But yeah, so Luke said that Neil Custer's got his back up about something, and he's a fucking weapon. So I didn't
That
know
was an awful tweet he put on.
Hey,
Getting back to him was awful.
I think that the bit that Luke took exception to, and I could see his point, was
Lack of credit.
that it was the bit where Pete kind of put at the very end of his tweet was almost saying the only place you'll get your news is Sky Sports News, so tune in here to get it. And I think that's what Luke was picking up on, was the fact that hang on, you're saying like the only place you'll find out about this is through Sky Sports News. And 9 times out of 10, Sky Sports News only really do follow up on a rumor or a story that's been in the press, or when a signing's been made. But then, so I think that's probably what he took exception to. But then, I can see why.
Yeah, sort of. But then you think, well, that's Miles Starfelt. So read the Gazette for a full story. And you haven't got to read the Gazette. You can
that all he has done there is put a tweet on for a company that he works for, promoting to watch his show. And also, what I'll say here, every man and his dog says it's on Sky Sports News now. So if we're linked with a player,
right.
Everybody
which
says
if you're a journalist, that will wind you up, because you spend weeks and months breaking the news and breaking the story, but the people that get the credit is Sky Sports News, because when it happens, it goes on there.
When we, after a podcast, I went through, we'll say, tune in to Gallowgateshots on Monday night, watch Extra Time. Like, you don't get the Athletic going like, they can't say that. We've got a podcast. We talk about Newcastle.
Actually, the Athletic actually class themselves as the go-to Newcastle United podcast.
Disgusting.
We know idiots. Fucking all of them. Bellends.
I thought it was absolutely berserk, the whole situation. Berserk. And yet again, it was Newcastle's Twitter just doing what it seems to do.
It's weird.
Literally self-implodes.
I'm sure
it's because it's Luke.
It's just us.
I think
it's because
it's
Luke.
Oh, no, Neil Custis as well. He's
that was an he said a pompous tweet, didn't he? Somebody said it was very pompous opinion or something. Something he put.
You're right for the fucking sun.
It's awful, that. Awful.
Used to.
Oh, we'll tell them. I've not had words with you, but certainly.
It was honestly the most random thing. One of them, well, there's a lot of random shit on there. There was a song on there. Oh, I'm not going there. Anyway.
Was that one that Laura did? That Pepper, the Everton fan?
No. You know what song I mean. I'll tell you at the end.
So Scotty, who's actually running our Facebook page at the minute, puts a great comment in about Sky Sports. He says, Sky Sports News do a segment called Paper Talk. Did you see it? Where the sources are coming from.
That's true. Yes, they do. Yeah, Paper Talk. And there's a show. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Look, Edwards was on the wine last night. That's all I can honestly think.
No, he wasn't, because he bit back at Keith.
Yeah, he did.
He did, because Keith said he was on the wine down, or something like that.
I reckon he still was on the wine.
It's entertainment for us guys.
Luke's a mischievous man. Like.
Well, he admitted it.
He is.
Let's be fair. I mean, I've got a lot of time for him.
I think he's excellent.
I'm sure I agree very similar to what Besties. I think a lot that he says is bang on, speaks his mind, amazing. But there's just some that one last night was so. Even Pete Graves must have said, "Eh?"
I just think if Mark Douglas had have tweeted Pete Graves saying exactly the same thing, there wouldn't have been this reaction.
I don't think Mark Douglas would have tweeted Pete Graves saying exactly the same thing.
Well, that's it.
What? What's it?
But why wouldn't he? But because Luke will do that, because he won't just sit there and be quiet about it.
No, but you're
saying there's something that
it's because Luke's. Do you think Luke chose to take offense to that?
100%.
No, I think other members of the written press probably would be offended by it,
like Neil,
but wouldn't tweet them because they'll just ignore it.
But it was such a. It was like I say, it's Sky Sports. Tune in tomorrow on Sky Sports News for it, and it's just that's what Sky Sports. It's not what Sky Sports do, which is what the media does.
I think if you go through Pete Graves' you're exactly right, yes. But if you go through Pete Graves' tweets, he's probably said that maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Join us tomorrow on Sky Sports.
Yeah,
only the place to find out the news. Sky Sports. Of course, he's going to do that.
But he didn't say that, did he?
What did he say?
He did. He almost said. The stories in the newspaper, they don't know what they're talking about, because I've heard all of these names and nobody in the press is reporting them.
So we'll FaceTime both of them.
Wasn't that long?
So we get them both
get them on.
I'll just randomly FaceTime the pair of them.
I can see it from both sides. I can see it from both sides. That's he'll have said that because he's got his sources. He wants people to watch him on the TV. But I can see why somebody from the written press would look at that and think that that's a dig.
And you would think that's the. out of everything that has happened, even let's think takeover related, I just thought it was such a random time, a random tweet to have a go at. Out of all the shit that's probably been said on Sky Sports News, in the written media,
You know what it is?
to have a dig at that one, I just find so strange.
Expecting transfer breakthroughs in Newcastle this week. Being fairly amused by some of the names mentioned in certain places recently. However, there are players under serious discussion that haven't been mentioned anywhere yet. Follow Sky Sports News for the latest.
That's all. What?
That couldn't be more benign.
That isn't
Sky Sports News is the only place. That is follow Sky Sports News.
If you look at the sections of it, the first bit is fine. The second bit, I'm amused with some of the links that are being made. So he's saying, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just making these names up.
But a lot of that does happen.
Then his next bit, I know loads of names that aren't getting reported. So it's almost saying, you're talking shite. I know what the real names are here. So come in and listen to me on Sky Sports News.
But who is you're talking shite? I read that as these ITK accounts on Twitter.
NUFC.com have done a thing about 20 years.
If I'm a journalist in the written press, reading that, then I would say, hold on, he's having a go. It's my
NUFC.com have done a thing for about 20 years where they'll list every player that will be linked with over a calendar month, and it'll be who the source is. And not once have I seen, not just Luke, any journalist say, I can't believe they've done that. That makes me look stupid.
Yeah.
We were linked with Emil and Penza for 2000. I can't believe they've taken because that makes me look ridiculous. And that's just not what.
Because that would have been a link that they've been given at that time, and a rumor that they've heard.
That explicitly names a source that was never on the cards. Never ever on the cards. This month, December, is ridiculous. Someone put a video of it on, they can scroll down those names and names and names. And they've always got Telegraph, Times, Sun, Star, whatever. And I've never seen a journalist go, "Why you can't do that to me? You're taking a piss out of us. That's not right."
But that's reporting factual stuff, isn't it? Because they've got that information from their publication.
Yeah, but it's presented.
So they've already put that out there to say.
I think it's called
Newcastle's been linked with this person.
I think it's called the unlikely lads. Does that not?
There's definitely a thing on there.
Does that not imply that it's some of these are a bit silly?
I remember buying
loads of them are silly.
Yeah, but
we've never seen anything like it for the last couple of months. But
it's great, wasn't it? Remember Roberto Baggio's shirt in the back of the car when I was signing Ferdinand?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, great! Yeah.
I think
I still want to sign him at Del Piero as well.
I think it's all been absolutely blown out of proportion massively.
Huge.
I think
it has.
I do like Luke, like Bessie. I like Luke. I get on with Luke. Like I'll speak to him now and again, and I think he's just taken that the complete wrong way.
I think so.
And I think looking back on that, in fact, I was going to say looking back, Luke probably look back and go, maybe I reacted bad. He won't. He definitely won't think that.
He might think that, but he wouldn't admit it.
He wouldn't tell that, no.
But the thing is, what I was disappointed
like
in,
it's ridiculous.
What I was disappointed in, though, was
the abuse he gets makes him then.
It will do.
React.
It will do that to anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
Pete then went and apologised to Neil Custis, but went on the attack with Luke. And I don't know if that's because it's a familiarity thing, because they know each other. But that didn't.
Did he call him
Puke? A nice man. Or was that the other way around? Did Luke call Pete a nice man?
I think so. Like I would have felt quite passive aggressive. I thought when I read that.
Yeah,
because I think I said, "I'm glad that you think I'm a nice man" or something.
Oh,
where's this going, lad? And I don't know why Keith comes storming in as well.
The back post coming next. Put the drink down.
Aye, yeah, straight in.
Yeah, that was text each other.
I hope so. Like we'll sat in the same room.
100%.
We've got the VR sets on and that, and just having a lovely old time.
Yeah,
finish off our New Year drinking chocolates.
I think it just could have been avoided massively. Like at such a time where everybody's on cloud nine and everything looks like it's going in the right direction for the club.
Yeah, that's why
I got these two arguments.
You know, when you said just little quarter, was it because you want to watch End of the Darts?
Oh no, I could say much. I've been given like loads of noise and fist pumps. What on earth am I doing? Bessie's talking about Luke. I wasn't. I'm kind of like this. I'm watching the darts. But no, I listen. The fan base itself on Twitter is at each other enough as it is.
Right? Constantly,
and then to have professionals, if you like, in that job. To be doing the same thing, I just find it absolutely horrific. Like, I really do, honestly. I think it's embarrassing. Like,
get that last comment on this chat up on that screen now. Get that chat. Get that on.
We're going to go back to the tea lady.
Is it from Walk Mocha?
Stuart Ellis has said, Kath the tea lady's son is called Call the Tour Man.
Thank you.
I don't think somebody's name is Call
Mr.
the
Tour Man. Mr. Tour Man.
Is he a wrestler
I'm not having that one. I'm not having that one.
or a horse?
Maybe it was Stuart that said it.
I think we're done. We're done.
Is there any more questions at all?
There's
Anyone?
nothing, mate.
No,
Absolutely nothing.
nothing?
But we're
Oh.
going now on 20 minutes.
Oh, that's fine. I'm
Now
all right
on
with
20
that.
minutes.
See, I could stay out at least midnight.
If Smith wins this leg, he's won the whole thing.
Until the dots finish.
There's-
No, it's 57.
7 hours.
So there's
Something else.
over 400 people watching at the minute. So if you do want to like the video, thank you very much. We appreciate it massively. Been a couple of members sign up tonight as well. So
Thank you.
if you
Looking
do
forward.
want to become a member, just go on the Gallowgateshots homepage on YouTube and sign up that way as well. You do get access to the Telegram group, which has been mentioned a couple of times there. So a Telegram group. It's basically like a WhatsApp group. Just loads of Newcastle United fans who are also members, just talking about Newcastle United, just like we do here.
I always get wrong for it because it goes off that often. My phone goes as well.
It goes ding.
Amy goes,
ding,
so I've got to
ding,
mute it.
ding.
For like,
Yeah. So it's quite busy in
It's
that
very
group,
busy,
isn't it?
aye.
It is very busy, but it's good crack.
it is actually.
Scott, he's just put on the screen, Mark. I'll put it back on there. Says, don't forget to follow on the Facebook page. So the Facebook page is back up and running as well there. So if you want to follow Gallowgateshots on there, as well as Instagram, that Clark is running everywhere at the
It's
minute.
because he's not getting his game at the
Only
minute.
fans coming next month.
Everywhere. Also, we do have some news coming about a new show, which we're going to be doing.
It's going to be trippy. I was like, oh, yeah.
No, so a new show which we're going to be doing in Gallowgateshots, which is going to say a ex-Newcastle United player joining us on a monthly basis to talk all things Newcastle United as well.
Wonder who that would be.
We'll just speak more about that in the coming days. So some things to get planning. Thank you to everybody. See you later.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.